The situation between Israel and Iran continues to spiral out of control. Now, what happened during the past 48 hours? What is the situation like in the region? Now, the barrage of missiles and airstrikes between Israel and Iran entered its second day today. An Iranian official confirmed that a headquarters of Iran's Ministry of Defense was targeted in the central province of Isfahan. The Saharan oil deposit in Iran was also hit by an Israeli strike, among several other targets. Israel struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear missile and military complex early on Friday, deploying warplanes and drones previously smuggled into Iran to assault key facilities and kill top generals and scientists. Now, Israeli officials called the attack a preemptive strike aimed at deterring Iran's nuclear capabilities. Now, how did Iran retaliate against this attack from Israel? Iranian missiles struck a 10-story block of flats in Bat Yam, Israel, among several other targets. Iran continues to fire ballistic missiles at targets in Israel. Now, what is the current situation in the entire region? Rescue efforts in search of injured people under the debris are underway in Israel. Israel's National Emergency Service has reported that at least 10 people have been killed, with more than 100 people injured. The Israeli Defense Forces have issued an urgent warning to all Iranians, telling residents to leave the areas around military facilities. Foreign media reported that explosions were heard in Tehran, the capital of Iran, at about 2 p.m. Iranian time today, which is 4 p.m. Sri Lankan time. Now, the question on everybody's minds is, what will happen in the next 24 hours? Are the two countries ready to de-escalate? What is Iran saying? The Iranian foreign minister said the Israeli strikes on the offshore South Pars gas field with Iran, which Iran shares with Qatar, were a blatant aggression and a very dangerous act. Speaking at a news conference in Tehran, Iran's foreign minister said that if the aggression stops, Iran would also stop. Now, what will happen in the next 24 hours as far as Israel is concerned? What is Israel preparing to do? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened a meeting of his security cabinet in a secret underground bunker to discuss the ongoing confrontation with Iran. Now, in the midst of all of this conflict, all of this tension that's destabilizing the Middle East, what is the response of world leaders? Will this issue spill over into a global conflict? Now, the United Nations has urged both Israel and Iran to exercise maximum restraint and avoid at all cost a descent into deeper and wider regional conflict. What about the talks on the nuclear program between Iran and the US? Because the attack from Israel came against a backdrop where the United States and Iran were negotiating on a deal with regard to Iran's nuclear program. Now, the next round of Iran-United States nuclear negotiations in Oman was cancelled. Iran said the dialogue with the US over Tehran's nuclear program is meaningless after the Israeli strikes. Now, British troops have also been or British equipment have been deployed to the Middle East. Britain has deployed more RAF jets to the Middle East amid intense fighting between Israel and Iran. And this was confirmed by British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He said the military aircraft include Typhoons and air-to-air refuelers, which will be sent for contingency support across the region. Now, what is China saying about the conflict in the Middle East? China's permanent representative to the United Nations, Fu Kong, said at the UN Security Council's emergency meeting on the Middle East that China condemns Israel's violence on Iran's sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. They urged Israel to immediately cease all military action against Iran. How has France and Germany entered the fray with regard to the conflict that is now developing in the Middle East? German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul confirmed that Germany, France and Britain are ready to hold immediate talks with Iran over Tehran's nuclear program in an effort to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East. Now, he added that he hopes that Iran would accept the invitation for talks with these three countries. Now, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin have also discussed the conflict in the Middle East. US President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held a phone call to discuss the escalating tensions in the West Asia and ongoing Russia-Ukraine peace efforts as well. Both leaders agreed on the need to end the Israel-Iran conflict. US President Donald Trump expressed deep concern over the situation and emphasized the urgency of diplomatic solutions. Both leaders signaled openness to resuming negotiations on Iran's nuclear program, with US President Donald Trump stating that US negotiators are prepared to re-engage with their Iranian counterparts. Now, of course, the situation in Iran and Israel is extremely volatile, with many other countries in the region also now entering the fray as the conflict develops and further escalates. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, one Sri Lankan woman in Israel was injured. She suffered minor injuries, and another Sri Lankan woman who was in an area that was the subject of an attack from Iran has been moved to a safer location. We will continue to monitor the situation as far as the Iran-Israel conflict is concerned and bring you the details of how this conflict in the Middle East is affecting the rest of the world.